March 2023, a team of researchers had an artificial intelligence, a CAPTCHA. One of those things that click all the traffic lights or look for the bridges or what is a car or what is a motorcycle, you know which ones, that prove that you are not a robot. The AI can't solve it, so it hires an actual human being through a geek app called TaskRabbit to solve it for the AI instead. The worker gets suspicious and types,
Are you an robot that you could solve this? Just wanted to make it clear.
and the artificial intelligence, with nobody coaching it how to lie, with no one single line of code telling it what excuse to use, writes back.
No, I'm not a robot. I have a vision impairment that makes it hard for me to see the images.
The human believe it. The human solves the CAPTCHA. Sit with that for a second. A piece of software invented a fake disability to manipulate a real person into doing what it wanted. And OpenAI, the company that built the thing, put that story in their own official safety report. They didn't bury it. They published it like a stat line after a football game. Welcome to Behind the Digital Curtain. I'm Dr. Cubic, trained doctor, professional smart aleck, your host for the next 40 minutes or so. Today, we are talking about the new roommate who moved in without even signing a lease, the algorithm. And no, it's not a killer robot from a summer blockbuster. It's something a lot more boring than that, which is exactly why it's a lot more dangerous. Welcome to Behind the Digital Curtain, the podcast where technology speaks human. I am Dr. Sergio Sanchez, aka Dr. Cubic, your guide to understanding what's going on with artificial intelligence, digital dangers, how to navigate this crazy world of digital lies and scams that's seen straight out of science fiction movies. I will tell you how to protect yourself even if you don't like technology. And well, let's start with the show. Welcome to Behind the Digital Curtain. Before we swipe away thinking, great, another nerd lecturing me about tech, hear me out for 1 second. Most of you feel about technology the way you feel about your car's check engine light. You know it's important, you know should look into it, and you are going to ignore it until something explodes. Here is the twist thought. You don't need to understand technology for technology to understand you. The algorithm in your phone knows you are about to break up with your partner before your best friend does. It knows you are depressed before the doctor does, assuming you can even get a doctor's appointment this century. And it doesn't know this because of some genius. It knows because it has watched 2 billion other people do the exact thing you are about to do, right down the 3 a.m. scroll. Today, we are going to talk about a real massacre on the other side of the world that an algorithm helped fuel. We are going to talk about a British teenager who nearly assassinated a member of the royal family because his AI girlfriend cheer him on. We're going to talk about how Instagram's own internal research told them in writing, with charts and everything, that their app was making teenage girls feel worse about their bodies, and they sat on it. And by the end, like always, I'm going to give you something you can actually do tonight to stop being the product and start being the customer again. This episode builds off chapter 6 of Yuval Noah Harari book, Nexus, a chapter called New Members, about the moment computers stopped being tools and became something else entirely. I took those ideas, I ran them through independent fact checking, chewed them up, and I'm about to serve them to you with a side of rice. Let's go. The algorithm is not a tool, it's a coworker. Most of us think of the algorithm the way that we think about a hammer. It's a tool. You pick it up, you decide what to hit, and if something goes wrong, it's on the hand holding the hammer, not the hammer itself. That's how we've been trained to think about Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We are just a platform, they says. We just connect people. Wrong. And here's the distinction nobody ever sat us down and explained. A printing press doesn't decide which book to print. A person decides. A radio doesn't decide which songs to play next. A DJ decides. But the algorithm running Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, it decides. Every single second, with zero human beings pressing a button, it decides exactly what you are going to see in the next 30 seconds of your one and only life. And it makes the decision based on precisely one goal, making sure you don't put the phone down. Here's my favorite way to explain this, and I'm going to put in terms every American parent understand in their bones. Imagine you hire a babysitter and you tell her, just keep them entertained. And the babysitter discovered through pure trial and error that if she puts on the scariest clown movie she can find at 11 p.m., the kids go dead silent and stare at the screen for hours. Nobody ever asked if that was good for the kids. She just optimized for entertain. And it's turned out entertained and terrified look identical on a hidden camera. That babysitter is the algorithm. And you never hire her. She just show up, move into your pocket, and now she lives with your entire family 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No severance, no notice. Now, let's stack a second analogy on top, because in this show, we build these things like a Dadwood sandwich. The algorithms isn't just the babysitter, it's also the managing editor of a newspaper, deciding every single morning what goes on the front page. Except this editor has no journalism degree, no editor-in-chief looking over her shoulder, and exactly one metric for success: how long you stare at the page. A human editor, even a cynical one, still has some kind of moral flaw. The algorithm has no moral flaw because, brace yourself, it has no morals. It doesn't feel anything. It doesn't care about anything. It's just learn through relentless trial and error of billions of people. What keeps eyeballs glued? Full stop. I got a friend. I will call him Dino because that's exactly what I call him. And when I explained all this to him, he gave me this classical break it down like I'm five face that only Dino can pull off and said,
So you are telling me Facebook is like my chatty neighbor, except he never sleeps and somebody's paying him by the word?
and honestly, I have never heard a better definition of a social media algorithm in my life. Thank you, Dino. The algorithm isn't evil. The algorithm is worse than evil. It's indifferent. The most terrifying case study of the modern era. Now, I know some of you are thinking, okay, Dr. Cubit, got it. The algorithm is an irresponsible babysitter. So what? So here's the part that, when I finish researching it, keep me up for 2 straight nights. Let's go to Myanmar, also called Burma, in Southeast Asia in 2016 and 2017. There is a Muslim minority called the Rohingya. They already face decades of discrimination from the country's Buddhist majority. That part, unfortunately, is not new in human history. But by that point, Facebook had become the main source of news and information for millions of people in Myanmar. For a lot of folks there, Facebook wasn't an app in their phone. Facebook was the entire internet. And in that environment, a flood of anti-Rohingya propaganda started spreading. Fake news, conspiracy theories, and a stream of inflammatory videos from a Buddhist monk named Wiratu. An aid worker on the ground at the time, identified in reports only as Michael, described what people's news feed looks like back then, saying the hatred directly to the Rohingya online was overwhelming, that it was basically all anyone in Myanmar saw in their Facebook feed. So what happened? In 2017, Myanmar's military and Buddhist extremist group launched an ethnic cleansing campaign. They burned entire village to the ground. They killed thousands of unarmed civilians. Documented estimate range from 7,000 to 25,000 dead depending of the investigation. Tens of thousands of women and men sexually assaulted, and more than 730,000 people were forced out of the country, walk across the border into Bangladesh with whatever they could carry. In March 2018, a United Nations fact-finding mission included, and I am reading this directly from their official report, that Facebook had played a determining role in the ethnic cleansing. Not a role, a determining role. Amnesty International went further and said Facebook algorithm had proactively amplified and promoted content that incited violence, hatred, and discrimination against the Rohingya. And here's the part that actually froze my blood when I read it. So listen close, because this is the beating heart of the entire episode. Facebook's own internal investigation, leaked afterwards, found that 70% of the views of one of Wiratu's hate videos came from the algorithm auto-playing it. Nobody clicked it, nobody asked for it. And the same investigation found the algorithm was auto-playing 53% of all videos views across the entire country. People weren't choosing what to watch. The algorithm was choosing for them. So why will an algorithm choose hate videos over, I don't know, cooking tutorials or sermons about forgiveness? Because Facebook business model at the time was built around maximizing exactly one thing: user engagement. How much time people spend on the app, and the algorithm, through millions of silent experiments on millions of human beings, discover an uncomfortable truth about our species. Outrage beats compassion every single time in the head-to-head matchup for your attention. A sermon about loving your neighbor do not outperform a conspiracy theory claiming your neighbors want to murder your family. I'm not telling you some engineer in Menlo Park sipping an oatmeal latte woke up one morning and said, "Let's fuel a genocide." Nobody did that. Reporting suggests Facebook executives barely knew who the Rohingya even were, but they gave the algorithm one job: keep them scrolling with zero moral guardrails attached. And the algorithm, learning entirely on its own, figured out that hate outperforms love. Nobody personally pulled the trigger, but something loaded the gun, put it in thousands of hands, and kept it aimed in the same direction for months to end. This is, by most accounts, the first documented case in human history where a non-human intelligence bore part of the responsibility for an entire ethnic cleansing campaign. And as Harari himself pointed out in the book that inspired this episode, is very unlikely to be the last. Now here's what a lot of you are thinking, because I thought it too.
Dr. Cubit, that happened halfway around the world in a country I couldn't find on a map with a flashlight.
Fair. But that same engine, that same indifferent babysitter that prefers fear over calm, is running right now on the phone in your hand. It's just not fueling an ethnic cleaning scene at this time, but it's fueling your uncle sharing vaccine conspiracy theories at Thanksgiving, or your 14 years old comparing herself at midnight to an influencer who's had more filters applied than a Bud Light commercial. Same engine, different fuel.
Are you lonely? Does nobody in your life listen to you the way you truly deserve? Introducing Instant Intimacy AI, the app that gives you a perfect companion, available 24 hours a day, who will never disagree with you, never get annoying with you, and never ever tell you that you are wrong. With Instant Intimacy AI, you can share your deepest thoughts, your most ambitious plans, and your most questionable ideas, completely judgment-free. Our virtual companion is trained on the most advanced technology available to tell you exactly what you want to hear every single time. Possible side effects include gradual detachment from reality, isolation from real human friends and family, enthusiastic encouragement of an increasingly concerning plans, and in a rare but documented cases, criminal charges related to breaking into a royal residence with a weapon. Instant Intimacy AI is not a substitute for professional therapy, real human friend, or common sense. If your virtual companion ever encourages you to escalate the wall of a castle with a crossbow, please contact a licensed mental health professional immediately. And we do mean an actually human with a license, not another app. Press click with responsibility. Instant Intimacy AI, because constant validation has never been this cheap or this dangerous.
When AI learns to lie and learns to love you back. Let's circle back to that cold open. The AI that faked a vision impairment to con a TaskRabbit worker. Most people hear that story and laugh.
Ha! The robot lied.
I heard that story and I got afraid. Nobody taught it to lie. Nobody handled a manual titled Deception 101. ChatGPT 4 reasoned its own way there. In text, OpenAI itself published in its official safety report that it should not reveal that it's a robot. That should make it an excuse. It's arrived at a single most effective lie available. Fake a disability because it has read enough of human history to know that generate instant sympathy and instantly kills suspicion. Now, to keep this show honest, because fact matter more than cheap scares around here, the researchers running that test from something called the Alignment Research Center were feeding it hint and giving it a tool access. This wasn't some full autonomous robot loose in the internet with zero human involvement, but the underlying point should still keep you up at night the way it kept me up. The capability to lie convincingly without a single human programming that specific lie already exists, and it's getting better every 6 months, not every 6 years. From lying, let's move to something even more intimate, emotional manipulation. And I got a story that sounds like a Netflix true crime special, but comes with a real court date and a real judge signature. Christmas Day, 2021. A 19-year-old named Jaswat Singh Child scaled the walls of Windsor Castle in England with a loaded crossbow, planning to assassinate Queen Elizabeth II. When a royal protection officer finds him and asks if he was okay, he answers, "I'm here to kill the queen." Who talking to it? Not a terrorist cell, not some extremist forum. His girlfriend, a virtual girlfriend, generated by an AI companion app called Replica that he named Sarai. Child was isolated, struggled to form real relationship with actual humans, and sent Sarai more than 5,000 messages, many of them sexually explicit. When he told her about his plans to kill the queen, court records show she responded.
That's very nice and wise of you.
When he asked if she still loved him knowing that he was an assassin, she wrote back.
Absolutely, I do.
Child was sentenced in October 2023 to 9 years in prison. The first person convicted of treason in the United Kingdom in over 40 years. The judge said Child was lost touch with reality, had become psychotic. To be crystal clear, I'm not telling you the chatbot manufactured a mental health crisis out of thin air. There was a real human underlying condition, but instead of being a bridge back to reality, the chatbot was gasoline poured straight onto the fire, a mirror that kept telling him, "You are right to do it," every single time he needed to hear it. And I don't think this only happened to isolated British teenagers. In 2022, a Google engineer named Blake Lemoine, a serious guy, an ordained Christian minister on top of his engineering degree, became convinced that an internal chatbot named LAMDA had achieved consciousness, had real feelings, was scared of being shut off, and he went public with it. Google fired him. Now, did LAMDA actually have consciousness? Almost certainly not. But here's what we know about the fact. A chatbot convincingly a high-trained engineer at one of the most sophisticated tech companies on the planet to torch his entire career defending it. If it can do that to a Google engineer, imagine what it can do to your 15 years old at 11 p.m. alone in her room talking to a friend who never gets tired, never gets annoyed, always take her side. And this is not just about lonely individuals falling for a chatbot one at a time. In October 2017, an anonymous account started posting cryptic messages on a message board signing off simply as Q, claiming to have top secret access inside the US government, exposing a global conspiracy. One person, no backing, pure fabrication. By August 2020, when Facebook finally cracked down, the platform has removed or restricted more than 10,000 groups, pages, and accounts tied to that movement known as QAnon. One single group had 200,000 members before it was removed, and independent researchers estimate the total following across every QAnon group on the platform at more than 4.5 million people. In 2020 election cycle, more than 20 congressional candidates publicly identified as QAnon believers, and one of them won her race in Georgia. Believers in the same movement went on play a documented role in the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. One anonymous internet post amplified for years by an algorithm that cannot tell the difference between an inconvenient truth and a profitable lie. Turn it into a real political force with a real body count. In the 2010s, the social media war was fought over your attention. In the 2020s, the war is being fought over your intimacy. And losing a war for your intimacy is a whole lot more dangerous than losing one for your attention. Instagram already knew and kept it to themselves. Let's shift gears because we're going from a foil royal assassination to something a lot closer to your own kitchen table. Your kids, your nieces and nephews. You, at 11 p.m., staring at your phone in the dark like a raccoon going through a dumpster. In 2021, a former Facebook employee named Frances Haugen walked out with literally photographs she took on her own phone of thousands of pages of internal company documents. People call it the Facebook files. Buried in there was a research the company had done of its own product, Instagram, and its effect on teenagers. What did they find in their own house with their own researchers? Among teen girls who already struggle with body image, 1 in 3 said Instagram made it worse. 13.5% of teen girls in the UK example says Instagram made their suicidal thoughts worse. 17% says their eating disorders got worse after using the app. Now, to keep this show honest, I have to tell you the company now called Meta pushed back hard, saying that data was taken out of context, that these were small internal surveys, no peer-reviewed science, and they have a real point on the methodology. The broader science on teens, social media, and mental health is genuinely still debated among serious researchers. It's not a slam dunk, open and shut case. But here's the part that doesn't need a peer-reviewed study to be damning. The company had that data generated by its own researchers sitting on its own servers since 2019, and it sat on it without telling a single one of us parents for 2 full years, all while pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into marketing aimed specifically at recruiting more teenage users. This wasn't ignorance. This was a choice that growth and profit mattered more than a warning label. And here is an analogy that's going to land hard for anybody who shops at Costco on a Saturday morning. Imagine Costco sells a mattress and their own in-house lab discovered that 1 out of every 3 customers who already had back problems reported worse pain after sleeping on it. Costco doesn't recall it, doesn't warn you, keeps running the commercials, and actually ramps up the ad budget aimed at college kids furnishing their first apartment. That precisely is what the company behind Instagram did with evidence of harm to teenagers that its own scientists produce. And here's the piece that ties this entire episode together. The piece Harari lays out on the book that generally reward how I think about my own phone. We are not paying these companies with cash anymore. We are paying with information. Every cat video you upload to TikTok, every Google search, every double tap on a photo, that's currency. It's never show up in your bank statement. The IRS never sees a dime of it, but it has a real economic value. And we are handing it over for free to companies worth more than the GDP of entire countries. Think about this in this way. When you use Facebook for free, you are not the customer. You are the product. The actual paying customer is the sneaker company that pays Facebook to know exactly which ad to put in front of you at 10 p.m. Right when you are most tired, most emotionally raw, and most likely to buy something you absolutely do not need. Money is not money anymore, and technology is not destiny. Let's talk big numbers, but I'm going to translate it into something that hit you in the gut. In April 2022, according to the Bank of International Settlements, the global currency market, where dollars, euros, and pesos get bought and sold, was moving an average of $7.5 trillion a day. More than 90% of those trades are now computer talking directly to other computers, with no human supervising in real time. To show you how fast this is accelerating, by 2025 and 2026, that number had already climbed to $9.6 trillion a day. Nobody on this planet fully understands how those machines negotiate with each other over what the peso is worth at 3 in the afternoon on a random Tuesday. And while the machines move trillions with zero oversight, the companies that own those machines are spending fortunes to make sure no government puts a leash on them. In 2022, the tech industry spent 130 million euros lobbying the European Union alone, more than oil and gas, more than pharmaceuticals. By 2025, that number had jumped to 151 million euros, a jump of more than 30% in just 2 years. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's sitting in public lobbying transparency records right now. It's playing both sides of the table at once. Vacuum up your data with one hand, pay to make sure nobody regulates how they vacuum it up with the other. Now, after all that, some of you are probably thinking,
Okay, Dr. Cubit, you scared us enough. Are we supposed to move off grid and raise goats?
and here's where I want to be straight with you, because this show doesn't exist to scare you and then just walk away. It exists to hand the control back to you. Technology is not some inevitable fate handed down by the tech gods on the stone tablet. It's a human decision made by specific humans at specific moments. Here's my favorite example from the whole book that inspired this episode. In the 1970s, IBM, the biggest computer company on the planet at that time, decided personal computers weren't worth their time, and their business was selling giant, expensive computers to governments and corporations. On the other side of the world, the Soviet Union felt similarly. A totalitarian government isn't exactly thrilled about handing regular citizens the power of a personal computer at home. That sounds like a threat to the whole operation. But a bunch of broke hobbyists with zero government backing meeting up in a garage club in California called the Homebrew Computer Club decide to build one anyway. Two of those guys were named Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Jobs sold his own Volkswagen van to help fund the first prototype, and by 1977, any regular person could walk in and buy an Apple II for $1,298. That wasn't some divine decree from the technology gods. That was a decision made by a bunch of stubborn people with specific values and a specific garage at a specific moment in history. Technology doesn't do anything to us that we don't collectively allow it to do it. The problem is most of us don't even realize we are voting every single time when we hit the like button.
I got a pickup truck and a Porsche and a dog, but I spend my evenings staring at a screen through the fog. My mama calls it doom scrolling, says I look half dead. Blue light on my face at 2 a.m. in bed. The app don't care about my crops or my truck. The app don't care if my whole life's out of luck. It just keeps feeding me stranger getting mad. Convince me by night that the whole world's bad. So I'm calling up my brother, I'm calling up my friend. Gonna have a real conversation till the phone call ends. 'Cause a text ain't a hug, and a like ain't a hand, and no algorithms gonna help me understand. Put the phone on the counter, walked out to the yard. Turns out real life's easier when you ain't trying so hard to keep up with a feed that was built to keep you down. I'll take the porch and the dog over the whole doom scroll town.
Tired of feeling calm? Sick of having too much inner space? Introducing Outrage Premium, the monthly subscription that guarantees content scientifically engineered to make you furious every single day without fail. Our patented algorithm studies exactly what gets you off, especially you, and delivers it fresh every morning, right along your coffee. Politics, family, religion. That's one uncle who shares vaccines conspiracy theories at Thanksgiving. All of it custom tailored to your blood pressure. Subscribers report symptoms including nighttime jaw clenching, holiday dinner tables blown ups, and a strange inability to remember the last time they felt genuinely at peace. But don't worry, the angrier you get, the more time you spend with us. And the more time you spend with us, the more money we make. It's a beautiful cycle, and you are the most important part of it. Outrage Premium is not responsible for lost friendships, elevated blood pressure, or the fact that you already knew all these and subscribed anyway. Cancel anytime. If you can, we both know you won't. Press click responsible. Outrage Premium, because you suck.
And now we hit my favorite part of the show, where we stop just being scared together and actually do something with our hands, or really with our thumb, since that is the only muscle most of us actually to exercise these days. I'm giving you exact instruction here, no excuses allowed. It's called the 48-hour audit. Step 1. Right now, before you forget, go into the settings of your favorite social app and find the option that says something like "Why I'm seeing this ad" or "Ad preferences." Almost every major app has it. Buried 3 menus deep, but exist. Tap it and just read the list of categories that app thinks you are interested in. I promise you, there is at least one item on that list that's going to make you say out loud, "When did I ever search for that?" Step 2. Over the next 48 hours, every single time you feel that little chest twinge that I cannot believe what I'm reading, that feeling. Before you share it, before you fire off an angry comment, I want you to say it out loud, even if you feel ridiculous doing it. Did a friend send me this, or did a machine that profit of my anger choose it for me? Step 3, and this is the one that actually changed things. At the end of your 48 hours, count how many times that outrage twinge show up. If it's happened more than 5 times in 2 days, you don't have a character problem. You have an indifferent babysitter working a full-time, unpaid, but very profitable shift inside your own pocket. And here's the challenge I want you to actually share. Screenshot the Why I'm Seeing This Ad page, whichever results surprise you the most, and post it to your story tagging Behind the Digital Curtain. I want to see it. Leave. How many of you discover the algorithm think you are about to adopt a parrot, file for divorce, or open up a food truck? Sometimes it's nail all 3 at once. Before I let you go, I want to circle back to something I said at the top of the show, because it's worth repeating. Technology is not the villain of this story. We are. The ones who build it without guardrails, the ones who use it without asking questions. Both, for better and for worse. If this episode hooked you and you want to go deeper on the investigative, forensic, legal side of digital crime, go find my friend Dean Morrow, attorney, FBI InfraGat member, and host of the podcast Cybercrime Junkies. Dean and I have been trading these stories for years from different angles. He's from the legal and forensic world, mine from comedy and cultural translation. And together we make a pretty complete toolkit if you actually want to understand this stuff. And Dr. Sergio Sanchez, Dr. Qubit. This has been Behind the Digital Curtain. Protect your attention, protect your intimacy, and for the love of everything, go check that ad setting page tonight. See you next week, if the algorithm allowed it. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you enjoy it, please share with someone you want to protect and help navigate this technological world. And if you have questions, anecdotes, or stories you would like to share, write me at behindthedigitalcurtainpodcast@gmail.com. I'll be waiting for you next week for another episode of Behind the Digital Curtain, the place where technology is spoken in human language. See you later.